I don't want to set the world on fire. I just want to start a flame in your heart. In my heart I have
Why are you guys doing Fallout 3?
We love the Fallout games, and we were in a position to acquire the license, and we had the chance to make a sequel, and we jumped on it. For me personally, I like that it's not your standard post-apocalyptic thing. It's this dystopian view of a 1950s sci-fi world. It's very much Land of like Tomorrow World type of thing. Like very over-optimistic 1950s sci-fi, and then you take that and destroy it. A post-apocalyptic setting is depressing, and but Fallout lends itself to a kind of dark humor that is necessary because it's so depressing that you'd cry. So Fallout lets you laugh at it too, in its own dark way.
What's your favorite moment from the old Fallout games?
There's not one moment. It's the interaction with the NPCs and the shades of gray you have, and making complex moral choices. I think is the most fun thing for me in the original Fallout.
And in what way would you say that you've carried that over to the new game?
Well, we've got the karma system, like the original Fallout. But it's not just a matter of being good or evil. It's having those shades of gray in between too, and a sort of moral ambiguity. We want the player to make some hard choices. And I think we're taking pains to make sure that we have that stuff in Fallout 3. There's the demo shows the example. Do you blow up Megaton or do you let it stand? But I do admit that's a very black and white example. That's your karma takes a nosedive. There are a lot of other examples where you meet a little kid in the wasteland. That in itself presents itself with a lot of opportunities. What do you do with this kid? Do you find him a family, or do you leave him to die? Do you, take him in as your own? So a lot of options and a lot of moral choices. You were born in Vault 101, which is a giant underground fallout shelter, basically. As you progress through the early part of the game, you're with your father, and then, one day when you turn 19, he's gone. You're woken up in the middle of the night, and you're told that, listen, your father has left the vault. The man in charge of the vault is none too happy about this, and he thinks you had something to do with it, so he comes after you. So you've got to get out of the vault to save yourself, and you're looking for your father. You're wondering why he left. Why did he abandon you? So that's the story hook we use. You're searching for your father. But as you do this, you come to places like Megaton, and you come into contact with the denizens of the capital wasteland, as we like to call it, and you learn their stories. 200 years after the nuclear apocalypse, things haven't gotten better, they've gotten worse, and they're struggling to survive. And can you help them? And if you can, do you choose to? Basically, you're playing the game in real time, but at any time during combat, you can pause the game. It's not a slow-mo mode, it's actually a true pause. And the guy, whoever you're targeting, is frozen on screen, and you can make your tactical decisions. You can, do I shoot his arm? Do I shoot his weapon and hope that I disarm him? Do I shoot his leg and cripple his leg so he can't come after me? Todd and I started off playing through some first and third person games and looking at them and thinking, if we had VATS in this game, how would it change the gameplay experience? And the more we use it, the more we like it. Our games have always had a strong action component. It's easy to misrepresent the game because it's first person. It's easy to mistakenly call it an FPS, and it's not. Every time you fire a weapon, your effectiveness with that weapon is determined by your skills. You want the game to be about the character you play in the game, not about the person sitting on the couch with a controller or sitting at the PC. So combat is dictated by, really by your character's abilities. Certainly listening to fan feedback and playing our own game and seeing, where we could have improved it. And, Fallout's a different game. It's a different experience. There are two things that people really want. One, you sometimes want to be weak and go to an area and see that it's overpowered and have to leave and know that you can come back some other time when you're more powerful. And the other part of that is when you do come back and you're more powerful, you want to be able to kick some ass. You want to be able to be that powerful guy. So we understand that, and we're definitely cognizant of that. And we just got the rad scorpions in the game, during the course of development. We always knew we were going to have them, but I actually just saw them right before E3, and I was like, oh, that's what a rad scorpion should look like when you're face to face with one. So that's really cool. It might be my personal favorite right now.
So are there any new enemies?
Yeah, obviously there are, whole bunch of robots, some old, some new, returning favorites, the Sentry Bot, Mr. Handy, RoboBrains. You know, you've got your Brahmin, the Deathclaw actually is another Fallout favorite, because for us it was really important to get the Deathclaw right. You know, we didn't want to do the infamous furry Deathclaw. We wanted to return to the true Deathclaw. So we're still working on him, but he's looking good.
So do you have any favorite weapons that you can tell us about?
I like some of our custom-made weapons. There's a set of weapons. They sort of like encompass all of the different weapon types we have. And playing a game like Fallout, you know, you have a lot of stuff in your inventory. A lot of the stuff you find is junk. In Fallout 3, you can take that junk and, you know, if you find the schematic to a certain weapon, you can take some of that junk and actually combine it into a custom-made sort of scavenged weapon. So we have one that's called the Shish Kebab. It's a sort of the flaming sword, you know, using, you know, imagine like a motorcycle gasoline tank and stuff like that. So that I like those. Those are cool. We were really surprised by how many weapons we have. We're like, wow. We do have the classic Fallout weapon skill. So, you know, small guns, big guns, energy weapons, all those are covered. Yes, we're fully supporting melee combat and fully supporting unarmed combat too.
Well, obviously, there's a very dedicated Fallout community, and they react to your announcement in a certain way. What are your feelings towards the community and what they have to say?
Everyone who works at Bethesda, like, you know, Pete and Todd and I, we're Fallout fans, you know? We love Fallout. I think there's a type of Fallout fan who's not afraid of evolution and not afraid of making a game in first person, the way we do things. So I really appreciate their passion, and I hope they try our game. And I think if they do, I think they'll find that it's a lot closer to the soul of the original Fallout than they might think. With the multiple ending thing, it's definitely not a case where you come to the end of the game and you make a decision right then. The multiple endings are based upon your actions in the game. You know, it's based upon your karma, the people you've influenced, some decisions you have made, so that the decisions you make throughout the course of the game will play out into the multiple endings.
Will the different versions on the PC and the consoles...
I mean, the gameplay is completely identical. The only difference is, you know, on the PC, some interface tweaks, obviously. We listen to fans' reactions on Oblivion, you know, different, you know, text sizes and, you know, better keyboard shortcuts, just making the interface more appropriate to PC players, you know, for those guys. So,
when will we get to play Fallout 3?
Fall of 2008. So we've got a lot of work to do, but it's coming along.
Okay. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.